Hey guys, as of December 2024, Modern is the coolest and most popular mod for Civ 3 multiplayer. Let me tell you about it. First thing, Modern was made by me. Fun fact, it's built from the ground up to have the best play patterns. Everything is chaotic, interactive, and action-packed. You're not just building for 80 turns and slamming stacks together. Building is still rewarded. You can plant a bunch of cities, focus on science, crank out factories, or generate a ton of gold, but you are also rewarded for playing the map. Exploring, planting faraway cities for resources, or harassing the enemy, these things will all bring you or your team closer to victory. Modern has custom assets and custom Civilopedia entries too. You can download this from the Google Drive, linked below. They are not needed to play, just if you don't have them, some of the units don't have models. Like, the combat engineers will look like longbowmen instead of like flamethrowers. But the lobby won't crash or anything like that. This isn't Civ 6. You don't need to install anything, and it's much faster. A typical game of Modern will last about 70 minutes. In some cases, they can last up to 2.5 hours, so set aside that much time to play. Modern teamers are played 4v4 with Regicide. You can lose cities without issue, but if you lose your king, you die. In Modern, if you die or you lose your capital, your score is cut in half. The team with higher score after 64 turns wins. But typically, one team will concede far before that happens. To speed up the game, starts in Modern are accelerated. Your palace acts as a granary and as an aqueduct. Don't build a granary in your capital. You start with 2 settlers, 2 workers, an explorer, and your king. In Modern, all civs are the same. They are all expansionist and religious. You can pick whatever civ you want. The differentiation comes from governments. Modern has 4 equally balanced but radically different governments: order, freedom, equality, and tradition. Order is a sort of buffed fascism. You have the fastest workers. You are the only government that gets military police, and you get 5 military police. You also get a lot of unit support, but your cities beyond the core will be quite corrupt. Order could be used to turtle, or for aggressive plays, especially timing pushes. You don't scale well, but you can destroy the enemy or ruin their gameplay. Here are Order's special buildings. Order will spend a lot of time mobilized in wartime mode. Note that all of these buildings below can be built in wartime. Each government gets 2 small wonders. Here are Order's small wonders. Next is Freedom. Freedom is like a buffed democracy. It's good as a scaling backline government, and when you have a lot of base commerce. Freedom has the 2nd fastest workers and can chop a forest in 1 turn. Freedom gets the commerce bonus and has the lowest corruption. It has very little unit support. Freedom's strength is generating gold. All of its special buildings provide gold multipliers, but for you to benefit from these multipliers, you need to be careful not to draft too much. Here are Freedom's small wonders. By the way, all of the small wonders for all the governments can be built in wartime mode. Our 3rd government is Equality. This is the meme government. Equality is a good choice if you want to get away from your starting spot, like if you have bad land or no resources. It has good scaling, but it can also rush people. Equality has low unit support unless its cities reach size 7. It has communal corruption. It doesn't get the commerce bonus, and it has very slow workers. They take 1 turn to irrigate, but 3 turns to mine flatland, and 2 turns to road flatland. So generally, Equality is good with plains starts, where you need to irrigate a lot, and worse with grassland starts, where you need to mine a lot. This airport is insanely powerful, just giving 25 production in addition to everything else. It costs 2 shields. But, surprise, surprise, in Modern, every settler can airdrop. So, if you don't like your land or your neighbor's a bully, you can play Equality, airdrop your settlers 9 tiles away, and fuck off. Here are your small wonders. The E statue is really important. Your commerce will be absolute trash until you get this. Last, we have Tradition. This is the middle of the road government. It is a safe government that scales reasonably well. Its workers are a little slower than Freedom, but they can still road flatland in 1 turn. The focus is on happiness. With happiness from its special buildings, Tradition can draft, but unlike Order, they don't need to keep them at home as military police. So if you want to go on adventures, play the map, this is a great government. These are Tradition's small wonders. So, those are the governments. If you're starting out, I would pick one government that suits your playstyle and play it every single game, but mixing and matching can be strong too. Modern has 6 resources. These are iron, coal, uranium, aluminum, rubber, and oil. Modern is asymmetrical by design. The The resources are roughly equally strong, but they do different things in different ways. So it's not like you need oil to build all the decent boats. Other resources will work, but in different ways. There is a focus on playmaking, mobility, and counterplay. There are entire classes of units that exist in Modern that don't exist in Civ 3. The land and start positions are also balanced. All terrain types, even tundra and jungle, are strong, but they require different strategies. All the possibilities might be overwhelming, especially since you have to commit to a certain tech path early on. If you're new, I'd say check out the GitHub link in the description of this video. You can click on the resources that you have, and it will tell you what you can build and what techs you need. Or you can ask your team for advice. How do you get good at Modern? There are a million different paths, and no one is playing optimally, but this will get you started. You will always want a granary in your second city. Usually you build that immediately. And here are some basic build orders for your capital for each government. The first essential skill is growth. Here is a chart of the food yields from all the bonus food tiles in Modern. You can also just right-click on a tile, and it will tell you what the yields are, but until you change governments, it will show you with the despotism penalty, so it won't be accurate until like turn 3 of the game. To grow every turn with a granary, you need 5 food per turn. So aim to have one tile with 4 or more in both your core cities, and then another tile with 3 or more food in both cities. Micromanage your cities every turn so that they grow. Use the happiness slider to stop cities from disordering. Do not use entertainers. You need to grow your cities because they can't draft unless you get to size 7. Practice this in single player if you want. Play through the first 12 turns of the game until you get to drafting size a few times. The second skill is militia per turn. 20 shields per turn gives you a militia every turn. If all your tiles are worked, like if you have mines and irrigation on all of them, you can do this without a factory if you mobilize into wartime. Militia defend well, and with drafted partisans underneath for defensive bombard, which is very strong in multiplayer, killing you will be very difficult and not really worth the effort. You will be safe, and then from there you can experiment with all the cool different things that this mod has to offer. The third skill is managing your second city. This city will do a granary first, and from there it should do a worker every turn, or a settler every 2 turns. This will stop you from falling behind all the other players. Extra workers also help if you're getting bombed or pillaged, and for hooking resources. So that's it. If you want to play or practice in single player, join the Discord link below, and we will shower you with attention. Or just hop into a lobby and tell us that you saw this video. Cheers.